Roger that, Dominik. See you on the other side.
Konnichiwa. Hello everyone. My name is Dominik. I'm a co-founder at Office Samurai. Prior to that, I had pleasure to work at Lufthansa, ABB, UBS, so couple of shared services. Today, well, maybe I should come more here. Today I will be speaking about automation technologies, trends, and we'll try to do some overview of what makes sense and what doesn't make sense in a shared service environment. And I would like to start with a quote that we tend to overestimate the effect of a technology in a short run. Do you know the second part? Exactly. And underestimate the effect in a long run. Any examples that comes to your mind where we overestimated that the impact of a technology, what can be achieved in 2, 3, 5 years, but we underestimated its effect in the long term? Segway. Oh, yeah, that's nobody ever gave me this example, but it's yes, exactly. You know, with segways, I guess everyone expected that we will be traveling with them to work. I don't know, bringing our kids to kindergarten, etc. But I on the shoulder, yeah. But still, in a long term, I guess they are still used, right, in big malls, in certain areas. Any other examples? What about internet or robotic process automation, right? I don't know if you remember, but 7, 8 years ago, when RPA revolution started, a lot of analysts, consultants were claiming 70% of people, 70% of work in finance could be reduced thanks to RPA. Are we there yet? I guess no, it was quite overhyped. And there is another way how we can look on this. Do you know Gartner hype cycle? They came with this idea, right, that every new technology that is coming to the market, it has this very steep, like fast track, right? It's almost every technology is overhyped at the beginning, then the interest, the visibility goes down, but then with time, each technology goes to this plateau of productivity. Just few examples of where I think different technologies are at the moment. AI agents, very trendy topic right now. Also a lot of people claiming AI agents will reduce 50, 60, 70% of our workforce in X area, right? And probably we will see more and more hype. I will talk about AI agents also in a moment. But when it comes to, for example, Microsoft Copilot, right? Who uses Copilot? Hands up. Oh, wow. I never get so many responses to that, to be honest. You know, when it comes to Copilot, I think there is already some kind of hate starting, and it started a little declining, right? Because it came to the market like 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, right? Microsoft introduced Copilot. There was a big hype to start using it. And I think now we see that there are areas where it totally makes sense, right? Like Teams, making notes, Outlook, preparing answers to emails. But there are also areas like Excel, PowerPoint, where it never should be implemented, right? Where the Copilot gives you very wrong proposition and it really doesn't support you. So probably we'll go down a little with Copilot, and then eventually Microsoft will probably get there finally. Communication mining. Who heard about this technology? Hands up. Okay, Bartek, I'm not surprised that you heard. Bartek was also mentioning during the first panel today the communication mining technology, so using machine learning to understand incoming emails, incoming communication. IDP, it's not individual development plan. Who knows this shortcut? Exactly, intelligent document processing, right? So technologies that are using, again, machine learning for automating incoming documents, or RPA, which is, I would say, very far in this cycle already, right? It's pretty standard technology, and I really like one of the thing that one head of shared service center told us that now he sees that RPA is delivering to his center what it was promised 5-6 years ago. And most probably it will be the same with other technologies. But let's go to other examples like self-driving cars. Do you remember when this concept started becoming popular? How long ago? Someone would say less, more? Yeah, but probably, you know, first ideas about self-driving cars were more than 10 years ago, but actually this big wave of popularity, it was 2014, so 10 years ago. And then Elon Musk was promising that in 1 year, in 2015, 90% of what Tesla cars can do for us, the 90% will be probably automated, right? So the Teslas will be able to drive autonomously for this period of time. Then the next year, he said it will be in 2 years, right? And now we have memes where we are running out of space because those companies, those cars are not there yet. I'm not sure if you are aware, but there are like 5 levels of how autonomous the cars can be, right? And do you know on which level the cars are currently certified? It's most of the companies are able to get to level 3 right now, right? I'm not sure if there are any cars certified for level 4, but usually on level 3 it means that the car can go autonomously but with human supervision, right? So you need basically to keep your hands on the wheel and make sure that it's driving safely. But we underestimate what technologies can do for us in a long term. Do you remember where internet came to the world? Any guesses? that was not the reason for the question. Okay. How many years ago we have seen the first internet web pages? Very close. Actually, the first published web page, it was 6th of August 1991, so 33 years ago. It was info.cern.ch. This guy, Tim Berners-Lee, he was 36 years old physician who developed the first web page. And this is the first web browser. So this is how actually the first web page looked like. And you can still go to this web page, and actually I really recommend it. You can read there some history of the internet. But a few years later, we were having such quotes that people say the internet will replace stores. It will never happen. Shopping is a social experience, right? It was said by Charles Wang, CEO and founder of Computer Associates, 1997. Or this quote, that the internet would soon go supernova and collapse in 1 year. And these are not random people saying those things, right? This is the inventor of Ethernet who said it in 1995. Then, of course, the internet was overhyped. We had dot-com bubble. Probably most of you should remember it in year 2000. But if you think about this, probably in 90s, nobody expected what we can do with internet, right? That it became foundation for many other technologies. And I have a feeling that it might be similar right now with AI, that we are overhyping what AI technologies can do for us in 2, 3, or 5 years, and maybe this hype will collapse at some point of time, but most probably we are also underestimating what those technologies can do for us, like autonomous cars, right? Once we will be there, once those cars will be not only like individual cars, but trucks driving on their own, it will have huge impact on a lot of industries. But when it comes to shared services, the big question is what really works and doesn't work in our environment. And I would like to start with something called Kinastowski principle. So this is the idea from my colleague, co-founder at Office Samurai, Andrzej, who came with this concept that you may see most of the technologies in a way that how useful they are, right? Are they useful for shared services or maybe not that much? But there's another aspect, how people often perceive technologies. And this is how cool the technology is, right? For me at the beginning, it was a little strange concept to see it this way. But if you think about this, very often, if the technology is cool, it's much easier to go to your boss and get a budget for it. If the technology is very uncool, probably it's the opposite, right? Or if the technology looks cool, maybe your employees want to try it. But if it doesn't look cool, or it's not perceived as cool technology anymore, then it's harder to convince them to get interested into it. So Andrzej tried to classify where different technologies are, but in terms of shared services, right? Because when we are thinking about other industries, probably this chart will look totally differently. But we have dust collectors, so technologies that are not very useful anymore, or were never useful very much in shared services, and are not cool anymore, right? And he gave an example of fax and also blockchain in the same area. If you think about blockchain, probably 4 or 5 years ago, when I was attending conferences like this, most of shared services claimed that yes, we are interested in blockchain, yes, we want to implement something, yes, we are thinking about some POCs, but who is actually using blockchain right now in a shared service? Anyone? Okay. So it stands. Then there are technologies like show-offs. So, for example, virtual reality or the whole metaverse, right, which was promoted by Mark Zuckerberg 2 or 3 years ago. And Andrzej put it in this show-offs because, you know, it's still pretty cool to think that you can have like virtual reality meetings, but when it comes to usefulness, it's not very useful in shared services, right? It will not increase much productivity, not improve our processes that much. Then we have beige workhorses, so technologies that are very useful but not very cool, right? If you think about this. So ERPs, this is like super important technology in every shared service, but you cannot really, I don't know, go to a bar and say to a girl, hey, I'm implementing new ERP, SAP for HANA, right? And make impression this way. Like probably the effect will be quite the opposite. And it's a little the same with RPA, right? It stopped becoming very cool technology, but it's still very useful in shared services. When it comes to process mining, we had a lot of discussions with Andrzej when it comes to this, because 2-3 years ago, I think, again, everyone was talking about process mining, giving examples of different projects. And even during Aspire events, I think there were really cool examples of Heineken or PMI showing what they did with process mining in their companies, especially in finance, right? But at the same time, this technology is quite expensive. And when you are trying to use it outside finance and you are trying to figure out how to integrate new systems, then it's much, much more challenging. It's still possible, but that's why it's in the middle when it comes to usefulness. And then we have the area where the technologies are cool and useful. So here we have examples of IDP, so Intelligent Document Processing. We have example of GenAI chatbots, but there's also something called GenAI agents. I will talk a little more about them in a moment. But there are 2 more technologies that we believe are very cool right now, and we need to figure out also where they are when it comes to usefulness. So communication mining, so processing incoming messages, and process intelligence. So this referred to be called task mining before. So technologies that can analyze what we are doing on our computers. All right, when it comes to some examples, in which companies you are currently using some kind of OCR solutions or IDP solutions, if you could put your hands up? Really? Only 30%, wow. Still a lot to do, also for our colleagues from AutoID in this area. So the concept of IDP and how this is different than classic OCR solutions. So probably all of you know OCRs, right? You put a sheet of paper, it can be scan, it can be picture, and basically OCRs are digitalizing our documents. And then if you would like to use OCR to process a document, traditionally you would need to have some templates where you say to OCR, oh, if this is this type of invoice, look for those information in this area, right? And with IDP, those systems are now much more intelligent. So they can basically guess where is a certain information on a document. So let's say they are looking for VAT number. So they would probably say, okay, the VAT number probably should be next to this information about VAT, and they assign some level of some level of certainty to it. So these are examples of those tools. This was actually Rosum. This is UiPath document understanding, but there are also tools like ABI FlexiCapture or Kofax, I guess very popular right now on the market. The biggest difference, because you can ask yourself now, all right, but we have generative AI. Why we cannot use generative AI to read invoices? I guess one of the main reasons is that you don't have this this level of how certain the model is that this is the proper information, right? Generative AI will simply take all the data from document for you, but will not tell you how sure the model is that a proper information have been read. In case of IDP, you can have this information, you can teach the model with your own data and improve it over time. Another example, communication mining, that was already mentioned here a few times. So imagine, I think you don't need to imagine, right? Because in most of shared services, you have this unstructured communication coming to your teams. It can be emails, it can be tickets in ServiceNow, OTRS, Jira, or other systems. And probably you struggle with standardizing those processes. I mean, you cannot really make your vendors, or it's very hard to make all your customers to follow a certain process. So they are keep sending you those emails asking you to change something in your systems, to take care of something. And here we have an example of policy change, right? So insurance example, where someone would like to change address for their policy. So what communication mining tools are doing, they are basically trying to get few things. So one thing is categorization. So the model would try to categorize each incoming message. In this case, policy, amendment, address change. Then the model will try to read some metadata to get information when the email was sent, by whom, and in a third step, it will try to get information out of it. So so-called entities, policy number, the new address, plus the models can usually also assess how happy or unhappy or angry someone was writing email to you. Right? So it can also be used in quality measurement. But then once, so again, the challenge with generative AI is that you can also ask LLM models to do this for you, right? But you don't have this level of, you cannot really control how generative AI model is behaving. I mean, in one case, the generative AI can read it properly, but in another case, you might get totally different results. Then you have this confidence level. And if this confidence level is high enough, and there are all information included in the email, you can potentially use a bot or automation to automate the process, right? You can, in this example, change the policy. If the data is incomplete, again, you can use automation to ask for the missing information, or you can even use generative AI to generate such response. And then, if there are any documents included, you can use IDP solutions like document understanding to read those documents. But when the model is not sure enough, then there is something which, again, you cannot really do with generative AI, and this is handle this message manually and give back feedback to the model. So the next time you have the very same message, the model is smarter and can handle this type of requests. But I guess you might be most interested in AI, chatbots, AI assistants, AI agents. And here I have a feeling that we have a big problem with definitions, right? Because people are using those terms AI having in mind different things. So I would like to work a little on those definitions and show you some differences between chatbots, assistants, and agents, like 3 levels of what you can do with those levels. So AI chatbot, and examples of AI chatbots that you are using. Sorry? Oh, okay. Actually, I would say this is more like assistant level. I will show the difference you in a moment. But AI chatbots are, for example, ChatGPT, right? Perplexity, or similar tools that are publicly available to everyone and that have general knowledge, right? Because AI chatbot doesn't really have knowledge of your organization. It can answer general questions. Like here, when I was preparing myself to this presentation, I asked ChatGPT to do some research and find 5 examples of famous people said that internet is useless. And of course, I used some of those examples in the presentation today. But the challenge with AI chatbots is that we cannot often use them in business environment, right? I cannot really upload to ChatGPT some internal documents from my organization, at least I shouldn't, with, I don't know, levels of salary, with some internal information, and ask ChatGPT to give me an answer. So the next level of how you can use those AI solutions is something that I call AI assistants. Here you have, do you recognize this user interface? What is this application? Microsoft Teams, right? Do you agree? Who is using Microsoft Teams on daily? Of course. Everyone or almost everyone. I mean, if you are using Google applications, then probably you are not using Teams, but most of companies, especially in Europe, actually still use Microsoft Teams. And here we have an example of implementation of what we called CyberOla or CyberOla in English. Why CyberOla? Because our HR manager name is Alexandra. So we wanted to prepare like a cyber version of her. And basically we teached this AI model of all our internal documents. You can read here that there are 70 PDF documents on which this model was basically trained and has access to. And thanks to this, all our employees right now can talk to CyberOla and ask those basic HR questions, which were previously usually being handled by our HR manager, right? So questions like, I want to apply to refund my glasses. What should I do? And of course, employees have those information somewhere in the documents, right? But I guess in your case, it might be not 70 documents, but maybe 700. And it might be challenging to find those information, right? Or the same information might be in several different documents. And when we are giving a business context and information about our internal documents, our processes, our data to AI, then in my opinion it starts to becoming kind of AI assistants. So this banking example that you gave, right? Probably this model was also trained with some information from this bank. So what's the offer of the bank? How to open a new account? How to I don't know, do something. I was not contacting my bank for many years, so I'm not sure what people can ask there. But here's another example. I want to start postgraduate studies. Can you describe me if there are any options for a refund and how can I get it? Right? And here, those information, this is not copy-paste from our procedure, but this is actually a private version of ChatGPT replying to me based on the knowledge of our organization. Right? So this is only an example from HR, but think about this. You can do the same in finance, teaching the model how to deal with different cases. You can do the same in travel, in expenses. You can do the same in IT operations or IT help desk, right? Because there are a lot of people asking, I want to restart my password. I want to do something with my computer and I cannot. And IT help desk is probably answering hundreds, thousands of those kind of easy questions every day. So this is second level, AI assistant. What would be the next level, AI agent. Anyone would like to give us an example of what AI agent would do in such case? Okay, I see you are a little shy today. or maybe I'm the last thing before between you and the lunch break. Maybe this is the case. But the agent would actually help you with doing the process. So let's say I'm asking for the refund, right? I want to have my glass refunded by the company. I get the description of what I need to do, and then I'm saying, okay, please apply for a refund for me. And the agent is actually connected to your systems and can take the form, can fill it out with your data, and send it on your behalf. So agents are AI solutions that are connected to other systems and can actually perform specific tasks, right? And I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but a lot of companies are now trying to work on those agents. There are even concepts of multi-agent environments where one agent is asking another agent to do something in a certain system. I guess we are still not there, but I guess this is one of the trends that will eventually come to shared services. So chatbots, AI assistants with the knowledge of our organization, and then AI agents. And when it comes to technology, so what's behind? There is something called RAG framework, and this is our bet how AI will be actually implemented in your organizations, because with AI we have quite a lot of challenges, right? Because AIs they don't have information about our processes, they don't have access to our data, and they can also hallucinate. We have problems with controlling the behavior of AIs. And in our opinion, the RAG frameworks will be a way to implement AIs in big corporations. So what RAG framework actually is? Let's imagine you have a user that wants to ask large language model a question. And this question, instead of being sent directly to this large language model, is first received by this RAG framework. The RAG framework is searching our documents, it's searching our internal databases to see if there are any information relevant to the question, and it's sending this question to large language model together with this background information, and also with a prompt controlling how LLM should behave. So let's say we want to create HR assistant, right? So in the prompt, we would basically write to such system that behave as HR assistant, don't answer question if you don't know the answer, don't make up the answer, right? Because this also might be a problem that LLM can try to hallucinate or can try to give you an answer that doesn't exist. And RAG frameworks is a way to control the behavior of LLM. Just to give you an example, let's say you want to ask LLM, can I bring a dog to the office? Right? So if LLM doesn't have information about our policies, it cannot really say if it's possible for me. However, if we give it access to our documents using the RAG framework, it can reply to me, yes, you can bring office to the dog and give me information where it was found. This is example from our company, right? And we have this dog policy in place, so people can actually bring dogs to our office. But then you might have a question, what's the maximum number of hours I can work in a single day? And here we have an example that we can even use Polish labor law as an input information to the RAG framework. The AI can reply the maximum hours is 12 based on labor law, and it can also show you where this information was found. Actually, with labor law, we finally decided to remove it from our training materials because we found out that there is too much interpretation in Polish labor law. Even lawyers have sometimes problem to say very directly what is the answer, right? So we don't want the LLM to give wrong answers to our employees. But there might be also a questions like, can I bring a horse to the office, right? And as you can imagine, we don't have any policy about bringing horses. And we had a challenge earlier with such questions that LLMs were guessing, oh, if they allow dogs to the office, then probably other horses also an animal, then maybe animals are also welcomed in the office, right? But here we can control the behavior that the LLM is replying, I don't have such information, please contact HR department. So there are no hallucinations from LLMs. And there might be different names for those solutions, but our bet is that in most of your organizations there are already some forms of RAG frameworks, or the solutions that will be implemented based on AI will have some sort of RAG framework behind. Okay, I would like to finish today's presentation with the same quote that I started, that we tend to overestimate the effects of a technology in a short run. And probably this is happening right now with AI. This is a buzzword. You cannot really open LinkedIn right now. And most probably 80% of posts will be related to AI. Like the post about Off Radio in Krakow. I don't know if you heard about this case. It was very popular the last 2 days on the internet, that the radio decided to have AI create. There were some AI avatars that were supposed to run a show on the radio. And at the same time, the radio decided to let go a few employees. So there was a lot of hate that AI is replacing human employees at the radio. Actually, in their case, it's a little bit more complicated, right? Because they did it as an experiment. And this was not the main reason why they decided to let the employees go. But I guess it will be more and more cases like this, right? And they generate a lot of fuss. But at the same time, we underestimate the effects of technologies in the long term. So probably we still don't know yet what will be the impact of AI in 15 or 20 years on our organizations. Thank you.
Questions?
Can be also comments, yes.
Anyone?
Thank you very much. I don't get this. So every conference I go to, there's a lot of talk about AI.
Yeah.
So I came here to get a technical understanding, and I thank you for it. I don't see the intelligence. I see very logic algorithms, large language models, if you wish. Could you please help me understand where the intelligence is? What did I miss? I came in late, maybe that's it. But where is the intelligence?
It's it's a super valid question, and we have the same challenge with some of our customers. So last week we have 2 customers, one from Poland, another one from Germany, coming to us saying they want to implement AI in finance. and they had like a description of what they want to do. And basically, after reviewing their case, it was all rule-based, right? So they basically wanted to say, for non-PO invoices, I want some automation solutions to do this and that for me. And they have all the rules from the beginning to the end, but they wanted to buy AI. And we have a lot of problems with those discussions because the customer doesn't want any type of automation, they want AI, and at the same time, you cannot really apply AI to those rule-based, right, if you know everything. But maybe just to give you some examples, my whole point is that we are trying to figure out how generative AI, how those very complex solutions can be implemented in shared services, while we forget that there is intelligent document processing, communication mining. This is all based on machine learning algorithm, right? So these are not those most advanced AI. This is like a generation back, but it still do the trick. It still resolve our challenges. And when it comes to like what we now call AI, there are those three levels, so chatbots, assistants, and AI agents. And when I'm thinking about those levels, still a lot of companies are figuring out if we can allow a usage of chatbots. Some of the companies, maybe 5 to 10%, have some kind of implementations with assistants. So AI solutions with our knowledge of our company. And probably there's like 0.1% of companies trying right now with AI agents, which is like the third level, but we are still not there. And this was basically the point of my presentation, that there's a huge hype, a huge expectations, but the technology is still, we still need a couple of years to develop the technology.
Well, in the meantime, I hope with that German and Polish client, you just said it, you charge them about 10 times more on the invoice and say it's now AI. Maybe that.
That might be a case. Yes. I think we have one more.
Yes.
Not exactly a question, more
Okay.
following on what was mentioned.
Yes.
All right. I'm a data engineer by trade. I've been working on these topics for some time now.
Mm-hmm.
What I see in terms of AI adoption, so I'm less pessimistic than you when it comes to what we can do today. I see two things. First of all, we have 3 layers, and I would like your follow-up on that. We see 3 layers when it comes to data engineering and application of AI strategies. You have the foundational layers. These are your OpenAI and Anthropic, basically giving you the AWS of AI, right? Then there are players like you building the intermediate layers. So I have a fundamental layer that you can see as cement, and now I need to build foundations. And you have many players in that market, especially in fintechs. And then you have the application layer, right? Now I have a problem, and I want to solve that problem with whatever works. And whatever works may be AI. So my question to you is, what is the place of ARPA? You mentioned UiPath, you mentioned these tools. What is the place of ARPA in a context where 2 days ago Anthropic released Sonnet 3.5, which is able to access an operating system and do actions. So does this has a future? What's your point of view being in that field?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So just to make sure that everyone is aware, I think 2 or 3 days ago, one of the AI models, Cloud, was equipped with a new feature that it can work on our computers based on a prompt. So you can ask this model anything to do something on your computer. It will OCR the screen, and it will try to move your mouse, use your keyboard to do some actions, right? And a lot of people are claiming that this is the end of RPA. In our opinion, it's more like we see that RPA will be used a lot when it comes to orchestration of the processes, right? And maybe solutions like this will be more used to supplement RPA or being used as a part of automation, not exactly as a replacement. Because the problem is that sometimes in our processes we already know what should happen, in what sequence, right? And you don't need this intelligence. But sometimes RPA is struggling to figure out how to behave in certain situations, in certain applications, and this is the area where it could be replaced by such solutions.
I'm going to make it 30 seconds because we've got lunch, and lunch is only 45 minutes. It's very short. So
okay.
Yeah.
So the whole point is, in our opinion, those solutions, at least for a couple of years, will be working together. Let's see what will happen, in 5 or 10 years. But for the next 2, 3, 4 years, probably it will be a joint effort to automate together with RPA and AI.
Let's do it over lunch. Yeah, break for lunch. You can have the questions separately. We're back here at 1:30.
Thank you.
Thank you
Arigato.
very much. Thanks, Dominik.